and today we are here with another board game review, and today we'll be reviewing the Great Western Trail. I barely know how to play this game.
The Great Western Trail is a game about cowboys, and you might think that by cowboys we mean outlaws and shooting, but there is no such thing in this game. This is a game by Alexander Pfister, who is very famous for his point salad economic based games where you can get points and earn money from a lot of ways. Now, this is one of his most famous, most classic games, the Great Western Trail, in which we are all cowboys and we are herding cows and selling cows. So there are a lot of components in this game. As you can see, our table is full, and these are not even all the components. We have some additional things here as well, and this is just the setup for 2 players. You need a big table to actually play this game. So let me go through the concept of this game and then some of the key points. Again, this is not a rules explanation, so you better read the complete manual or watch some other videos on how to play this game if you're interested in that. But this is going to be just a quick overview on why you should be playing this game. So every player, once they have their board set up, every player has their own board as well. So I'm the yellow player, Vishal is the blue player, and every player starts with their own hand of cards which show different kind of cows. So these are different colored cows. Their color, their names matter, but they are they have very small value, either 1 or 2, and that's the hand we start with. So the game has concepts of action movement and deck building. And deck building will be happening with this. As you upgrade your cows, the type of cows you buy, then you will get better and better breeds coming up in your hand as well. So how this game works is that you start with, take from your deck, you shuffle them, and then take a hand of cards which tell you that in the current round, what type of cows do you have. The concept is that you will move along the board, try to sell the cows, try to exchange cows, and by the time you should reach the end point, which is Kansas City, you should have different type of cows in your collection. But if I had drawn some multiple cows, so for example, if I had 2 green cows in my hand, then they are still worth just 2 points rather than 2 plus 2, 4, because they are the same breed. So the more variety of cows you sell, the more money you will earn. So that's the very simple concept. Now we have talked about the objective of the game. How a turn would look like is that all the players start from the very corner of the board, and there are some spaces along, there are multiple routes along the path to the Kansas City. And reaching the Kansas City does not end the game, it just ends the first round of the game. Now, you can move up to 3 spaces with your cowboy, and you can move 3, 2, or 1. It's all up to you that where do you want to end your turn. Right now, when you will start the game, there will be few locations, few buildings on the board that are part of the setup. Those will be there, and those are the only ones you can stop at. There are some empty lots as well where the players can build in buildings as well. But right now there is nothing on the board from the players. So you cannot stop at an empty lot. You will continue along the trail until you reach a proper building, and only there you can stop. So on my turn, I can go from 1, 2, and 3. So along the route, I can select which path I want to take, and up to 3 spaces I can move. So let's say I stopped here. I'll show this one example. So every building card is going to give me few options that, okay, at this building, what am I allowed to do? On this building, I'm allowed to sell a white cow for $2. So there is a seller here who wants to actually buy white cows for $2. So that's one of the ways you're going to use on how you're going to, even though you started with 4 cows, you can then see that, okay, how to actually maximize or get better number of cows or type of cows by the time you reach the end. I can sell this cow, but that also means that as soon as I sell this, it goes into my discard pile and I get to pick up a new one. And maybe that's the one that will make my set complete. So that's one thing. Then most of the buildings have a secondary action or a tertiary action as well. So those you can take as well. The next thing I can do is that I can buy or hire a worker. That comes to the workers as well. So on this side of the board, we have some workers who I can buy. The worker types are three types. We have cowboys who are wearing the cowboy hat. We have the workers, builders, so they can build buildings. And we have the engineers. And the engineers move the train and allow you to sell to farther cities on the track in the Great West. So I can pay to hire these workers. The payment is given here. So for example, if I have to buy from this row, I will have to pay $6 and then I can hire, let's say, a cowboy. Let's leave it here and put it on my board. And now by default, every player has one of these characters, workers. But as you grow your workers, then more and more better abilities unlock as well. So now since I have two cowboys, if I go to the cow market, which is in one of these buildings, so for example, this next building, on my next turn, I can go to the cow market, and the cow market has better cows starting from minimum value of 3. So these not only give 3 money if I sell them every turn, so they keep coming back to my hand. Even though I sell them, these cards will come back to me from my discard pile and I can sell them again. So you're breeding these cows again and again. Again, I'm not going to go through each and every building that you can actually visit or what actions they allow, but you do get the concept that you will be trading cows, you will be exchanging your cows, you will be hiring workers, then be able to better purchase better cows, which will go into your card deck, and then from this deck you will be able to actually get better and better cows to sell on your next turn. So that will be the concept. Let me just briefly tell you about the other workers that are available. So the other worker is the builder. The builder allows you to build new buildings on the map. So once you have enough money, which you will start with a little bit of money in the start, but as you go around the town, you can actually build new buildings as well. Now each player has his own set of buildings available to them. These are double-sided. So at the start of the game, you can decide which side you want to play with in the buildings. So for example, the yellow player will have yellow buildings, the blue player will have blue buildings. Once a building has been built, the other players must count that as a space when they are moving. So it slows down the movement space around the board as more and more buildings get developed on this board. So once I pay the cost of that, again there is a card that you can now build a building. Then you will select where you want to place it. Again, you are trying to strategize that where would I normally need the actions of this building, and then place it there, that first. So it's kind of an engine building game as well, that even though you are performing these actions, but you are making an engine as well, that normally I will stop here first, perform this action which will give me this much, for example, money, and then I will go to the next tile which is going to allow me to use that money to buy new cars. Things like that are going to be there. Alright, so it's a little bit of engine building as well. Then the last one is the engineer, which I will cover in the last once I reach the Kansas City. Now once I reach the Kansas City, there are few actions that are given as the end track actions. You will be filling up these things on the board. So there might be some hurdles that are getting added. You will be getting new employees that will be added to the employment board. So once you reach them, these get added to the board. The round tracker goes down to indicate that the round tracker has moved. Well, one of them. So you will have a choice of one of them to be placed on the board. Next, I might choose to put a hurdle somewhere. Then, at this time, whatever were my cards in my hand, not from the deck, so based on that, I'm going to sell those. So for example, in this case, I had 2 plus 2, 4 and 5. So I have $5 worth of cows which I was supposed to sell. Now at this time, my train is going to move. The train track is going to show different cities like Wichita, Colorado Springs, Santa Fe, Albuquerque, El Paso, San Diego, and each are worth some amount of money. So to sell my cows at a particular state, my worth of the cows should be higher or equal to that state. So since I have 5 points worth of cows, so I cannot sell to the Colorado Springs. I can sell to Wichita, which is 4 points. Colorado is 6, so I cannot go there. So I will take my train to Wichita and sell my cows there. Now, as soon as you sell the cows there, you get that many points. So I will from the bank get $6 worth of money. So that's how one way of earning the monies, or the main way of earning the monies. But this also unlocks new actions for future as well. So every city has a circle, and there are some circular discs on player boards as well, which have a lot of special actions which are available to you. So you can unlock a special action by removing a disc from the board and placing it on that city. Now this indicates that I have sold to this city, which gives me unlock some bonuses which are given on the board, as well as it unlocks new functions on my player board as well. So there are duplicate activities or bonuses that are happening. Sometimes by connecting two cities, selling to two continuous cities, you will unlock bonuses. Sometimes you can even make stations. You can go to the side lanes and build a station by deploying one of your workers to a station, and he becomes the station master. And in that way, you get more points. Again, more ways of earning points. And that's not all. As I said, this is a point seller game, a lot of ways to actually earn points. There are even bonus cards dealt to each player in the game. So for example, this bonus card tells me that I must have at least a cow worth 3 points, a cow worth 4 points, and at least one building on the board. If as long as I have completed these objectives by the end of the game, I'll be getting 3 victory points. And there are more bonus cards available which I can open and add to my hand, and I will keep getting those bonuses. But there are sometimes negative points as well, that if you have declared that I will complete a bonus and you fail to do it, then you will get negative points for those as well. Now, there are a lot of mechanisms in this game. You can get certificates to actually improve the value of your cows when you sell them. There are, again, when you actually keep hiring, the cow market will get refilled as well. And by the time this round marker actually reaches at the bottom, the game finishes. So that's a track as well. So it's up to the players that how fast they want the game to go. Some players will try to actually quickly go through this loop and try to sell more and more. But that actually fastens up the round tracker. As soon as someone sells, the round tracker goes down. Some players will stop at each and every building, because each and every building is going to give you good and better actions. So they want to actually get maximum things as well. So again, different players have different strategies on how they want to play. The last thing that I will highlight is that there are multiple routes on this path, but sometimes those routes have hurdles as well. So for example, this path has buildings, but also has some hand symbol. Again, I'm not explaining all the symbols, but just as an example, this hand symbol means this is my building, that the other player must stop. So it's a stop, hand stop symbol. Other player must stop here and pay a tax to me for staying in my building. So that's one of the ways you can actually build buildings and stop other players and have a bit of player interaction as well. That they must stop and pay me for utilizing my building. Instead, they could have used, since now this building is here, they have to stop here. The other point is that they can take an alternate route, but this route has hurdles. There are three kind of hurdles in this game, well, four. One is the water. So if you tread through water, it might stop you down, it might slow you down. There is the sun, very hot summer, and then there is the rocky path. These not only allow alternate paths to move around the board, but they also give you some special areas as well, because if you build your buildings there, you're going to get more and better actions from those buildings as well. So there is a slight disadvantage on using these paths, but there can be an advantage as well on when you utilize these buildings. Okay, so that's overall the concept of the game. You're going to keep going through, keep building buildings, hire more workers. The engineer, I forgot to tell you, the engineer is the one who actually gets to move your train up and down the route and can allow you to actually get better and better actions. The more workers you hire, more special abilities unlock. The more cities you deliver, more and more special abilities unlock as well. Again, a lot of points that you can earn through this game, and that's why at the end of the game comes with a score pad, because by the end you will have so many ways on scoring that you will have to use a pad to see that okay, who scored what in different criterias, and then get the final scores. All right, so you will have to go through the manual to understand a lot of symbology on these cards, on these buildings, to understand
Symbology.
how these buildings work.
Everything is driving me crazy. The building is driving me crazy. The board is driving me crazy. Even these things, they're driving me crazy.
Because of the symbols.
I'm so dizzy. I'm so dizzy.
Well, again, there are a lot of symbols, so it's not an easy game. It's medium to heavyweight game. It's not an easy game to understand because of all the symbols that exist on the board. But once you understand the symbols, once you understand, for example, the arrows, the red arrow and the yellow arrow mean something else.
Reap! Don't tell me.
So once you do understand those symbols, then it makes more and more sense to you that okay, how do I use that building to improve my deck of cows, and then better and better cows will keep coming in my deck next time. So there are a lot of things, lot of gears that work in this, lot of mechanisms. So overall, someone will be overwhelmed by looking at the game, just as what Ishal said. But overall, the game when you play, based on the mechanics, it's a very fluid game. The economic engine is really neat in this game. Lot of ways to earn, and only by the end you do get a sense of who is winning, but only by the end you might know that who has completed what bonuses, who has better value of cows collected, and each good cow is going to give you points, each building is going to give you points, each the number of workers that you have unlocked is going to give you points. Everything is going to give you points, and only by the end you will know that who has won the game better. So overall, a very good economic game. If you're looking for a cowboy game about outlaws, this is not one of them. If you're looking for an easy game, this is not one of them. But a very good game.
If you're looking for a game that is crazy and can drive any person insane, this is the game.
So that's about it. Happy gaming.
Happy gaming!